Technology Advisory, and welcome back to our latest edition of Conversations with Leaders in CTRM Technology. Today we're very pleased to have with us Mr. Manav Garg, CEO and founder of ECA, global provider of commodity management and CTRM solutions. Manav, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Let's start out by, if you would, provide us an overview of ECA for those that may not be familiar with the company and its capabilities.
Right. So I started this company about 10 years back with the focus of providing highly innovative and differentiated solutions and products to commodity market participants. And my background had been, I was a coffee trader working in Singapore, had an extensive and deep experience in the physical supply chain of commodities. And when I go back to my trading days, I still remember we used to sit around the desk and we had about $1 billion of book in Asian commodities supplying all across the world. We used to do everything on paper, use the spreadsheets, and customers is calling us, and we are scrambling for the information. A shipment would be late, there will be some surprise in the claims from the customer. So we faced all these issues. And I was fortunate to have a very, very deep experience in that time. And then one fine day after a couple of years of working, I decided I should address this problem. So I left my job and with a mission to provide these highly innovative and differentiated solutions to the market. So therefore, if you look at the whole DNA of the company, we were for a long period of time the first and foremost solution provider to come with a web-based transaction system to the market. That time people were still solving the problem of physical supply chain. Market was just coming off from derivative solutions. We had early starters in companies in North America in 90s. So we were kind of so-called young entrant into the market. And the way we made space in the market and had beaten our established competitor is by providing the solution which will cover the entire physical supply chain, give you the risk coverage, the contract coverage, and very, very superior P&L mark-to-market calculations. And traders loved our solution. We have EDF Energy in Houston here, Twin Eagle. We have Cargill as a customer. We have companies down in Australia as customers. We have companies in US, Europe. So right now we have about 400 people, 7 office locations. We provide solution across energy, metals, and agriculture. Understand the physical supply chain aspects extremely well, and we are constantly innovating and trying to solve real customer problems.
Good. Part of ECA's message is you're truly commodity management,
right?
Not necessarily CTRM. What differentiates the commodity management market from what we would view as the traditional CTRM markets?
Right. I think I see software typically in some Gartner says super cycle or hype cycle. So I think this industry has not been on that cycle, but I see various cycles in the industry. So I think it was very derivative and energy driven in 90s. 2000 was very supply chain and physical driven. And I think towards later half of the decade, 2005 onwards, we started going into larger commodity management, which means freight, hedge accounting, and so on and so forth. So your solution footprint really increased by going to a large commodity player saying, I can now provide you more software to cover your supply chain, right? So I think now I think I'm seeing a totally different shift coming to the market, and which shift that I call is a smart commodity management. If you look at simply the word statistics, right, we are about 7 billion people on planet Earth right now. It was a billion in 1800s. I think by UN estimate by 2050 we'll go to, we'll add another 7-8 billion to it. So imagine the amount we have to feed all these people, and the planet is not growing. So that brings more volatility, leaner supply chains, and if the people increase, and especially India and China, you see huge amount of growth. We need more houses, more refrigerators, more of everything, more consumerism coming to play, and that really drives the basic commodity demand. So therefore, I think there is an explosion sort of things, especially in data that I see coming to the market now, with so much of people coming to the market, and generally the market is getting more mature. So I think the next wave of the software problems that need to be solved will be analytic problem. How do you really, once you have the transaction system into the company, how do you really make it really optimized for your decision making? Because all you want to make better decision so that you can therefore run your company better. So I think that's where we are differentiating ourselves now going forward.
So I would assume then you view that ability to manage the commodity supply chain as being a critical capability of commodity management, and what you term smart commodity management. Would that be an accurate assessment?
Yeah, I think going forward, we'll move from a lean supply chain management to a smart supply chain management, which means you will start using software to predict a lot of results. For example, you say this customer is going to give me a claim every time I ship to him. So I will then build into my calculations, right? This customer is going to behave in such fashion, therefore can I do like this? Or this particular market in this season has high demand for food or high demand for gas or high demand for liquids, therefore how can I build my company and supply chain in such a fashion that's also changing with the market. Because one of the core problems if you look at the market is, when I was a trader, you go home and sleep saying you have $1 million profit in your books, and you get up in the morning and it's totally the other way around. So market is changing every time. You need to have quick decision making, and I think now the change in the market and change in technologies will be able to do that. Because let's not forget that 5 years back we didn't have that technologies which can process millions of and terabytes of data in seconds and nanoseconds, which is what I think this market requires going forward.
Well, let's talk about that go forward. You touched on global growth, the need for additional commodities, and the leaning of the commodity supply chain in terms of supply and demand. But if we look over the next 5 years, what do you see as kind of the critical technologies that could be necessary to address the market as it's evolving at this point in time?
Right. So if you look at most of the companies that got started in 1900s, they had a client-server technology. We were started in 2004 onwards. We chose for 3-tier web architecture. So web 1.0, web 2.0 was the kind of technology that we adopted throughout 2010, first 10 years of 21st century. I think now we are seeing advent of far more richer internet technologies, which means your visualizations, your user-driven front ends are going to be extremely important. All of us are kind of getting far more consumer of software than we were before. Look at smartphones. Now, if you look at our children, ourselves, we are using apps all the time. I think we are using technologies in many more ways than we ever used to. I think all those things will have to come into enterprise software as well. So there's a kind of merging of kind of consumer behavior, which we do in day-to-day life, in the enterprise user behavior. So we will need to bring in those paradigms into our software as well. So user is very, very, at ease while using those technologies, and he feels that it is his daily life now.
Terrific. I appreciate you coming by. Unfortunately, I think that's all the time we have for today. But again, it's great that you came down to visit with us, and look forward to speaking again soon.
Thank you very much.
That's it for us today. Again, be sure and look for additional episodes of our conversations with leaders in CTRM technology at the CTRM Center on our website at ComTechadvisory.com. Thanks a lot.